Hello, my name is Richard Lowe, and I am a published author and a ghostwriter. I've published over 60 books of my own on Amazon. I've also ghostwritten 23 books, which have been published both traditionally and on Amazon. And I have written over 100 to 300 blogs. I had lost count a long time ago, and 300 different LinkedIn profiles. And today we're going to talk about one of my pet peeves. And it's a pet peeve of a lot of authors, and that is poorly written Amazon reviews. Now, what is an Amazon review? An Amazon review, if you're familiar, is where somebody who's read a book, and we're just talking about books here, leaves a note for somebody who, for other readers, so that he or she can relate their experience with that book. Did they like it? Why did they like it? What was good about it? What was bad about it? And so forth. And the idea is to intelligently tell another person, should you buy this book, in my opinion? What do you weigh with? What is good about it? Now, a well-written review gives readers sufficient information so that they can make a decision about to buy that particular book. So what was good about the book? What was bad about the book? What was unique about the book? How were the characters? How was the point of view? You could get into a lot of different things. These are things that you can bring up in a review that makes sense. And basically, you want to be informative, and you do not want to give away the plots. You don't want to put spoilers in there at all for anything. If you're reviewing movies or if you're reviewing books, you know how frustrating it is for somebody to say, oh yeah, and at the end this happened, and boom, it's ruined. Don't do that. But it's perfectly valid just to say, I enjoyed the book, let's just say Star Wars, let's say it's a book. I enjoyed the book Star Wars for the most part. It had some interesting characters. I thought that the character of Luke Skywalker was pretty well done. And I thought that the character of, say, the Emperor, he definitely struck me as evil. And these other characters, their character arc was a little flat, but they weren't that important to the book, and so forth. And I tend to put them as introduction, pros, cons, and recommendation. And I tend to keep them short because nobody wants to read a novel about a novel, right? That's kind of dull. So that's what you want to do in a review. If you're going to write a review, spend a few minutes and write something that's useful to somebody else. What would you want to see in a review? What if you're a reader? Remember, reviews are aimed at other readers. They're not aimed at authors. And their purpose is not to help authors. Their purpose is to help other readers make a decision as to whether or not to buy the book or read the book. And that's what it's for. So a bad review is general. So the worst review is just, like on Goodreads, it's just 1 star. That's it. Is that useful? No, it's not useful to anyone. We don't know why you gave it 1 star. We don't know if you didn't like the cover, if you didn't like the artwork, if you didn't like the way the book was written, if you didn't like the author, if you didn't like the author's religious beliefs. We don't know nothing. So a 1-star review or even a 5-star review is absolutely worthless if it's just stars. Also, a book review that just says it was awful, worthless. Doesn't help me as a reader. I don't know why you said it was awful. So those tend to get discarded and they have no value at all, other than they're usually spiteful. People who write those kind of reviews are usually spiteful and trolls, and they're just doing it to, maybe they hate the author, or maybe they hate his books, or maybe they hate his religion, or maybe they hate his political beliefs, or something like that. And they're absolutely worthless, and just ignore them and don't write that kind of review. Another one is one that's very nitpicky. This book had grammar errors, and there were 3 of them, and 2 spelling errors, and so forth. It's like, who cares? You don't want a book with a lot of grammar errors and things. You don't want a book with a lot of spelling errors, especially if there are a lot of them. But why not write a note to the author saying you got some grammar errors? How about fixing them? Instead of throwing it in a review. Number 1, it's self-published most likely. The author can fix them and upload a new version. And number 2, it's more polite. Those kind of things, they can be fixed, and 1 or 2 spelling errors or a grammar error here or there, it's going to happen. And sometimes they may not even be errors. They might be something related to the style of writing. They might be something related to the language. British English is different than American English, is different than Canadian English. They have different spellings of some words, for example, that may be different. Or maybe you have a non-English speaking person who's writing an English novel, and maybe there are a few grammar errors. Can you understand what's being said? Yes. So point out the grammar errors to the author privately is my approach if I'm going to do it at all, rather than that. Now, of course, if the book is just, 50, 60, 100 errors, then I'm in that case, maybe. But I've seen reviews where they said, the book was good except for 2 grammar errors. I'm going to give it a 1 star. It's like, really? Honest? Come on. You're being a jerk, basically. Don't do that. You're harming the author, and you're not really giving any value to the readers by your review. If you mention there were a couple spelling errors in the thing, but you still give it a high review, well, that's okay, I guess. And be fair on your reviews. A 5-star review means this book pretty much is one of the best books I've ever seen. It's really good. It's right up there with movies like The Godfather, which cinematographically is one of the best movies ever made, whether or not you like the subject or not, just the way that it's put together. 1 star means basically it was pure trash, and it doesn't make any sense at all. And stuff in between is kind of the gradient. It was readable, might be a 3. It was readable, it's okay, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't buy it again. A 2 is like, don't bother. So be fair. You don't give every book a 5-star, and you don't give books 1 stars unless they're really, really, really bad. Come on, looking at it objectively, how many books are just complete and utter, throw it in the trash and burn it type books? Not very many. There are books that deserve 2 stars, there are books that deserve 3 stars, there are books that deserve 4, and there are probably books that deserve 1. I've run into a couple myself. I usually just ignore them and ask for my money back or something and leave it alone. And one thing that is really a pet peeve of mine is when somebody doesn't like a book and they tell all their friends, go rate this book poorly. And you'll see just 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. Don't buy this book, don't buy this book, don't buy this book. This book is crap, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. We don't need to have mob mentality and brutalize a poor author who's it's his or her first novel and there's a couple spelling errors and you don't happen to agree with it. Come on, grow up. Don't do that. That's just, come on. If you really don't like the book, then give it a 1 star, but don't tell all your friends to pile on and bully the poor author. That's not cool. On the same coin, it's also not very helpful to tell all your friends, give it a 5-star. I want everybody, let's give it a 5-star. It's the same thing. People should give honest reviews to the book of what they really thought. And you can tell when you see a lot of 1-star reviews that are just, it's junk, it's junk, it's junk, I hate this book, it's junk, that they never read the book. That's what it tells me. Same with the 5-star, they never read the book. So what value is that? And you're giving it a 1-star or a 5-star review and you never read it. So your opinion is worthless. All you really did is you just kicked this poor author. And I've actually seen authors cry when this happens. And you just made somebody cry, you ruined their day, you certainly ruined their book sales. Why did you do that? And that's bullying. That is actually cyberbullying, and there's nothing good about it at all. And don't give the honest reviews. Make sure you've read the book or at least skimmed it. Make sure you're giving an honest review, and make sure you're telling it like it is, and give enough data to the reader so that they know that where you're coming from. I didn't like this author's political beliefs. Well, that tells me immediately that that's fine. You can put that in a review. I give it 2 stars because I don't like this author's political beliefs. Okay, good. Thank you. You told me that you're not basing your review on the book, you're basing it on the author's political beliefs. At least you told me what you're basing it on, so now I can accept or discard your argument one way or the other. So be honest in there, give enough information for me to be able to judge whether your review is accurate or not, in my opinion, or in what you're judging it on. And don't go bullying authors. They really don't deserve it, no matter whether you agree with them or not. Go and judge the book itself. Don't judge other people's religious beliefs or their political beliefs or the color of their eyes or whatever in a review on Amazon. Review the book. The book Is the book worth reading? Is the book well written? Did the book do something for you? Did it produce an emotion? Were you able to finish it? Is it well written? Etc. These are questions that you should be answering in a review so that I can look at your review and say, yeah, I want to buy this book, or oh, thank you for telling me that. I think I'll ignore it. No, I think I'll go buy a different book. That's what a review is for. So I hope this has been helpful. Just remember to give reviews of books that you read and give honest reviews. Regardless of whether you were asked by an author to give a review or not, give an honest review that is actually the way you think about it. You don't need to stroke anybody's ego. You don't need to slam them because you don't agree with them. Just review the book and make it honest. And then nobody can complain. You have done the right thing and you're being honorable. And if the author doesn't like that you gave an honest review, that's really not your problem. And that's all I can ask as an author from my readers, is that they read my book, they buy my book, and they give an honest review of my book. Did they like it or not? And why? I hope this has been helpful. I'm Richard Lowe. I'm a published author, a ghostwriter, and a LinkedIn profile optimizer. You can find me at thewritingking.com, and you can find some of my training courses on how to write at fictionmasterclass.com. I hope this has been helpful, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.